Here is something that took scientists almost 40 years to figure it out. And when they finally did, the answer was insane. The moon, the thing you've been seeing every night of your life, it's a corpse. It's a dead body of an entire planet. And the proof was sitting in a vault the whole time. In rocks we carried back from the moon ourselves. But to understand those rocks were screaming at us, you have to understand the mystery that nearly broke science. Because the obvious story of where the moon came from, it's wrong. Let me show you. If the moon formed from the wreckage of a planet that hit us, then the moon should be made mostly of that planet. A different world. Its own chemical fingerprint. So when we finally got moon rocks into a lab and checked, they should have looked alien. They didn't. The moon rocks are almost perfect chemical match for Earth. Same oxygen isotopes, same fingerprint. It's like running a DNA test on total stranger and getting back. This is you. That made no sense. For decades, this one fact quietly haunted the entire theory. The moon was made of Earth. So how do we build a moon out of Earth? Using a crash with a completely different planet? Okay, to answer that, we have to go back to the scene of the crime. 4.5 billion years ago. And trust me, forget the calm solar system you know. Back then, it was a shooting gallery. Earth was barely finished forming. A glowing ball of molten rock. And it had a neighbor. A problem. Something sharing almost the exact same orbit around the sun. We call that neighbor Theia, named fittingly after the Greek Titan who was the mother of the moon goddess. Theia was about the size of Mars, and for millions of years it crept closer and closer until two planets simply ran out of room. There was only ever going to be one way this ended. Theia hit us at an angle, a glazing sideways blow. But the energy was beyond anything you can picture. And this is where the new science kicks in. Because what that impact actually did to the Earth is so extreme that for a long time, nobody even modeled it right. It didn't just crack the Earth. It didn't just splash out the ring of rubble. It vaporized the Earth. The solid rock turned into gas. And according to the leading model today, our planet became something that doesn't even have a good everyday name. Scientists call it synestia. Picture a spinning glowing donut of a vaporized rock. Of course far wider than the Earth. Burning at around 2300 degrees. That was our world. Not a ball, a ring of fire. And here is why the one detail changed absolutely everything. In the old theory, the moon forms from a ring of leftover chunks, so it stays mostly Theia. But in a synestia, there was no chunks. Everything, all of Earth, all of Theia, is vaporized and blended into a glowing cloud. Completely mixed, so whatever condenses out of it too. And there it is. That's the answer to the 40-year mystery. The moon was made of Earth, because for a little while the moon and the Earth were the same exact cloud, and inside that cloud it rained, not water, molten rocks condensing out of the vapor and powering inward, something like 10 times harder than the worst storm Earth ever seen. Then, as it cooled, the outer edge of the donut pulled itself together into a ball. That's our moon, and it didn't take millions of years. The models say it happened in decades. Then the rest collapsed back down and the Earth reformed underneath it, like about 1,000 years later. One dead, two worlds, twins born from the same fire. So those moon rocks, the ones that looked like a fatal problem, the ones that said this is you, they were never the flaw in the story. They were the signature of it, the proof. We just needed a theory wild enough to finally read them correctly. And now, the part that generally gives me chills. This dead planet's corpse isn't just a pretty light in your sky. Many scientists think is the reason you're here at all. The moon's gravity acts like a stabilizer. It stops the Earth from wobbling wildly on its axis. No wild wobble means stable season. A stable climate for billions of years. Long enough maybe for life to crawl out of the ocean and slowly eventually become you. A planet died, and its corpse may have been quietly holding the Earth steady ever since, like a hand of a spinning top. But here is the last twist. That stabilizer is leaving. The moon drifts about 3.5 centimeters farther from us every single year. We measure it with the lasers, bouncing off mirrors the astronauts left up there. Billions of years ago, it hung enormous in the sky, and the day on Earth lasted only a few hours, and far enough to the future. It will drift so far that total solar eclipses just stop happening. The show ends. So tonight, step outside and look up. You're not looking at a rock. You're looking at the grave of a world that was destroyed to make it. A ring of a fire that cooled into the guardian of the Earth, and is quietly, slowly walking away. Same moon every night. You'll just never see it the same way again.